The Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. I am joined by Mark.
Evening.
Besty.
Hiya.
That's just it tonight. That's it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on Halloween. And let's just get straight into it.
All Hallows Eve.
So,
What? All Hallows Eve? That's the one I'm not sure that's what you said first time.
Try to. So, Mark, in Deka's absence, second week in a row, you get to see this, mate.
We're one, you know. Get in.
Oh, we're getting bored of seeing that yet.
Absolutely not. No. Maybe when we've won our 17th Champions League final in a row or something like that, it mightn't have its same appeal.
I don't know.
We'll still see it.
It's like, you know, the team photo at the end of the game. I still love it. I'm contemplating making a little photo album just for myself, which is all them.
All of them.
So I can leaf through it.
So, like, when the kids get older and, like, bring the girlfriends around, they'll be like, we'll dig the photo album out. It'll just be the dressing room photos.
Lads, that was a Mad Loris Carriers briefly.
Oh, those ones will be well thumbed.
Amongst other things that they say, yes. Beautiful man.
He's some specimen, like, isn't he?
He is, no lie.
So it's another week, Bestie.
Hello.
It's another Newcastle United win. It's another Newcastle absolute mauling of a team.
Yeah. Aye, it is.
Is that going to change anytime soon?
Well, I mean, you look at what we've got next, or what between now and the World Cup. It's Southampton and Chelsea. Obviously, Palace in the cup. Chelsea's. I mean, they're all hard games. You know, Southampton's not a. It's not a gimme. We haven't got a wonderful record against them. Well, not terrible, but you know, we've all remember games where we've kind of not played that well against them. So it's kind of. I've often said that I was still defrosting from the Mike Ashley years. That's somewhere deep in my bones. There's still this kind of frozen.
That's a great term to describe it, isn't it?
It's just how it feels like. I haven't quite fully. I've totally embraced. Well, you know, I've totally embraced the fact that Newcastle are a totally different proposition now to what they were a year ago, 2 years, right away back, like a generation, basically. You know, but yeah, I'm still that little bit that against Villa there last week. There was a couple of times when they broke, and I thought, yeah, here we go. We need a goal. We're desperate for a goal here, and we'll talk about it later on. The goal came at a really good time, the first one, but yeah, looking at, I'm not scared of anyone now. Like,
I'm scared of somebody. I tell you that. People that aren't listening to the audio, sorry, that people that aren't watching the video, I can't do it any longer.
You're a terrible actor.
I'm not sure you can.
Terrible actor. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. Oh, that was really hot as well. Can I just say it? That was really hot. Well, one, you know, get it.
Hey.
He's back.
Is Austin a thing off Halloween? Is it?
No. Daryl will know, and Scott. Vincent
Wrestling.
Wrestling years ago had like a mask. It was like this hidden power. No one knew who he was. And he took his mask off, and it was Vincent Mann all along.
Just because we said it was Austin, because Mike Myers played Austin Powers, and I just quite enjoyed that.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, but yeah, mask, wasn't it? Eh?
It's not bad, I
wait for sex and that. She loves it. So that's so she doesn't have to look at your face. Anyway, good evening. Good evening.
How are you, Deka?
I'm very good, thank you. Yes, I have been trick or treating with the kids. I didn't just decide to turn up like that. So yeah. The kids, yeah.
Did you have a good time?
I really did. It was great. I got loads of sweets. I can't believe you didn't bring any sweets for her. I got loads, honestly, I did that.
Can I just say, there's been a comment in which brought a tickle us. Somebody said, "Is that one of the mechanics from Tyre Spot?"
Wrong colour uniform, but
that's
like
tremendous.
That is tremendous.
So yeah, audio listeners, Deka is currently dressed up as Michael Myers. Yeah. But yeah, Deka, what were your feelings on the game? You made the game.
Oh, just ridiculous how I got there, but I got there. I did the match reaction with Scott after the game, and I think both of us, probably all of us around the table, probably expected to win. But
I didn't. Not pre-game, like.
Really?
I was feeling nervous.
Oh, okay.
I was a little bit apprehensive because they won 4-0 last
Yeah,
week, the weekend before
yeah.
last. But it wasn't like I still the way we won Newcastle.
Yeah, well, I had that feeling of like not new Magi bounce, because I appreciate he wasn't in the dugout, but the sacked Gerrard, and within 10 minutes they had beat Brentford 4-0. So you know, you kind of knew that. Should put the mask on there, shouldn't I? That it was going to be more of a challenge than a Gerrard Villa side.
Yeah.
But I still fancy we though, because we're at home on a great run. But my God, certainly when we're coming about the second half, I wasn't expecting the performance to be as good as what it was.
Yeah, I thought the first half was a little bit it was a bit untidy. There was loads of loose passes. Everyone was at it. Bruno wasn't quite at he's somebody's passing at least. He played very well. I still thought, but it was. But then even with that in mind, had Wilson headed that one over the top. Was the one that was offside.
Longstaff tried to chip the keeper, and it just went just wide.
It was definitely.
We did still have chances, like. But
Well, I know, but
Miggy, that with his right.
Are you on about the one that the crossfield pass shot?
It's definitely a shot.
It was definitely a shot.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying you said that, then you went, we still had chances. I mean, Christ Almighty, halfway line cross come shots aren't a chance.
Hey, he wasn't far off.
No, well,
it was quite far off.
Then he hit me. I thought, I just thought that personally, I thought Villa got the game plan really well.
Yeah,
right. They wasted time massively when they needed to waste time, and maybe the goalkeeper might be hurt.
No, that club in the league wastes time.
It's only us, isn't it? They were wasting time. They knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah, you can't really complain
for
about
10
it,
minutes.
yeah.
And
I mean, the keeper did have to go off concussed. Like, so in fairness,
but
and that gave us the extra sub at the end.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah, but I just feel, I don't know. After I think it was even after he went off, we then were starting to get the momentum going. Then someone else dropped down for absolute.
Buendia was down for a good length of time as well.
That was in between the two moments.
Yeah,
it was in between the two moments.
Had the Tyrone Mings thing where Wilson, like obviously Wilson just gives him a little bit of a nudge. Mings like knees the man in the temple.
Yeah,
he's down for a while, and even from our corner, I think like, it looks.
He was surely temple. Like,
yeah, he was not like and then Buendia in the meantime was that was one of the things that Villa did quite well, that we dealt with really well, but at the last second was Byrne put one in, that one on Buendia, and Trippier did a similar one with, I think it was Ollie Watkins or maybe Danny Ings, about to pull a trigger and he just gets a toe in and clears it. But apart from that, there was nothing.
Well, they didn't have a shot on target, did they?
No.
That's another team that comes to St James Park and doesn't manage to.
That used to be us.
It did.
Decker's right what you're saying. I think Villa set up very well, and
yeah,
they didn't control the game in the first half, far from that, but they basically stopped us getting any sort of momentum and any sort of rhythm into our play.
It was just scrappy. That's the best way to kind of describe it, wasn't it?
I think early on you could tell straight away that the referee probably wasn't on our side with some of the challenges that were going in, because there was a couple of times where Callum Wilson was wrestled to the ground, spun around. Like, honestly,
him and Mings were going on it like
non-stop.
Apparently they don't get on so well. I was listening to the podcast. Apparently they're not best mates. Like,
I don't know if Wilson gets on with anyone except Newcastle players. To be really honest with you.
When he played with Mings at Bournemouth, didn't he?
Oh, yes.
Together.
Not
together. We know they play in the same team.
The thing is, though, when a team sets up like that, then yes, it's fine. It is, because chances are they've come to St James's Park for a draw. And they snap your hands off that. Anybody would come into St James's Park at the moment.
At the minute, yeah.
But as soon as they concede that goal, they're fucked. Absolutely fucked.
Well, yeah, it obviously comes at a terrible time for them. I mean, conceding a goal is never a good thing anyway, but it come at a bad time. But I also think if I was the opposing manager, or I would be saying to my players, is listen, let's kill, try and kill the game, take the crowd out of the game. That's got to be very important for any away team coming here. Get the crowd quiet, you know what I mean? And I thought it'd be fair to Villa that, because we started canny, but they did very well at that. You know what I mean? It was I felt as if we were almost trying to like rush things a little bit, like we're trying to make that final pass be the right pass. And I just wanted everyone to take a breather, just calm down.
We wouldn't just relax on the ball, would we? Just keep a hold of it, knock it around. We couldn't string more than two passes together to keep a bit of possession.
Just trying to get it upfield quickly to try and prevent what happened against Brentford happening again, Bournemouth, when they were set so quickly and they were just like a solid kind of basically a square in the edge of the box that we couldn't play through. So we've got to get there quicker. We have done it, that against Man U. I watched a video. It was how they kind of exploited the channel, so they weren't necessarily playing the ball to Miggy. They were going behind the fullback and getting Miggy to chase and get in there. And there was loads of that actually. In the first half in particular, I noticed down there, left over Ashley Young's side, we really went at, there was loads, must have been half dozen at least, like balls in between the full back and the centre half are behind Ashley Young.
Yeah.
And Miggy got a few. Longstaff got a few.
Longstaff did loads in that area.
Yeah, he was excellent.
So I think with the structure of this one, with this podcast and this record, we'll just do what we have done.
There's a structure.
The kind of. You never guess, but kind of. I think any questions, send them our way, and we'll go through as many as possible throughout the next 60 minutes.
But we're not going to answer any questions unless you like the video right now. And we're going to check how many likes there is. If we don't get over 25 likes in the next 30 seconds, no questions.
we also hope some Villa fans are watching as well.
We also have no way to monitor who's like.
Why did you have to say that?
I want to focus on a few players before we start looking at the goals and things like that. Deka, you mentioned him, Sean Longstaff, and I think you mentioned this on either the match reaction, which you don't know. You might actually put it on Twitter. Sean Longstaff had a great game the other weekend.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think he's playing certainly on Saturday. This area of obviously he's playing the right of the three in midfield, but he's finding himself almost like right wing at times. But he's breaking in late to that area. But I think his energy levels, and I suppose I know you can say this about a lot of players under Howe, but his energy levels, he's up and down, graphing constantly, but intelligent pressing as well. He presses just when he needs to press, because that's obviously being coached into him. In my opinion, right, he'll never ever be the most gifted player. You know, he still turns like RoboCop at times. Like he's never going to be the most fluid of midfielders. But you are definitely starting to see the Longstaff that we seen in Rafa, you know, without any shadow of a doubt. The coaching, confidence, fitness.
He's so fit.
He's night and day compared to the Longstaff we've seen in our Bruce.
I forget which game it was. Might be Everton or Spurs. Like in the last week or two, where like the clock's about to hit 90 and he's still chasing everything.
Personally.
I think it was you said on the thing about Miggy, mate, about how it was he was running in the 90th minute like it was the first minute.
Yeah.
And Longstaff's got that as well. Longstaff he's tireless. Well, absolutely tireless.
I'm going to jump forward for 1 second. It's Longstaff related though, is when beautiful piece of play. And Longstaff crossed it for Wood. I mean, that's really late on in the game.
Yeah.
And I know everybody was congratulating Joe Linton for the back heel, but it's the run that allows that back heel to happen. And Longstaff's the person who's bursting forward in whatever minute it was late in the game.
Yeah, it was really late.
Puts an absolute beautiful ball over, and I'm thinking, you know what it is? You've bursted your arse to get into that right midfield area. It's unbelievable. Like really
right across the board. Not Danny Murphy, but he called him Jacob Murphy. Does really well, good and strong. And
he was brilliant when he come on. He was brilliant.
Eddie Howe must have
stop there, clock. What?
Eddie Howe must have Howe must have just said to him like, Ashley Young's like 100, just get at him. He got past him. Everything we did in the last half hour came from Murphy. That cross was kind of
that touch where he goes to as if he's going to just mess about with the ball, then he just knocks it past Ashley Young. Does he bye?
Yeah.
It was a good sub at that time, like, because you could see that they'd.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a moment in the we are jumping massively ahead here. There was a moment in the second half where our back four were just knocking the ball between them, and in the Villa team were just stood still.
Yeah.
Not one of them moved off from the positions that they were in, tried to go anywhere near the ball or even, take a step. And we were just absolutely taking the piss.
If you think about Villa from their perspective, like what Deka said about the first half, and what we've all said, they played pretty well in the first half. Obviously, the penalty comes on like 52 minutes into the first half, whatever it was well into injury time. So they've had a really good half. They've done exactly what they're set to do. They haven't quite shut the crowd up, but they've kept the ball for a bit. They've kind of frustrated Newcastle a bit. When we've pressed them, they've managed to kind of get out of it. I think they're quite lucky at times as well. The ball seemed to spin in their favour quite often, I thought. But in the second half, like the way Newcastle were, the way that when we got the second goal, it was right here we're gone.
Yeah.
And they must have been destroyed off that. You kind of blame them for thinking like, fuck, I'm not going to bother chasing this now. Stupid this.
Yeah.
Because there was a 15, 20 minute period in the second half where it was as good as I've seen Newcastle play, even like since in this regime, in this era. Like, they were absolutely brilliant, breathtaking at times.
You've got to be, as a Villa fan, disappointed though when you see your team not even go through a motion of trying to, look interested in the game.
We've seen that. We've seen that.
Exactly.
At that point, when you're a few goals down, you think the game is gone next week.
To be fair, there wasn't many Villa fans there at that point to see them do that. Like, was there? So, I guess from that side of things, it doesn't matter.
I honestly think in moments like that in a game, certainly again second half related, like it must be incredibly hard for the opposition to even try and get a foothold in the game. Like it just we were just absolutely relentless in that.
They couldn't
second
get
half.
couldn't get near some of our
Relentless.
players, could
Yeah.
they?
Like really couldn't. And we were playing, you know, like a Man City, man. Like that's that. It was
Yeah.
that good. It was just unbelievable. It was breathtaking at times, as you've said, and
Actually,
just relentless.
Against Man City was probably the closest we've
Aye,
come. That
yes,
was maybe
yeah.
the closest, you know, as a
For
comparison.
me, I've got Arsenal last game of the season, the City
Yeah.
game, and this one.
That
In,
Arsenal game's
in
incredible.
terms of just being amazing football, you know, like just relentless. I keep using that word, but every single player, man, was just outstanding. Like, you know
That's
what
how
Yeah.
Eddie Howe described it as well in his post match interview.
Relentless.
He said we were just
I
relentless.
mean? Yeah, we were.
And it was like literally they were facing the Alamo
Yeah.
at times in that second half where we're just absolutely piling forward with quality, with numbers.
It seems at this moment in time, what you just said there, Deka, is as soon as we get that one goal, the floodgates can open, because we've seen it before where under previous management, we'll get that one goal and we'll sit back.
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
happily
aye.
sit and defend that lead. One goal isn't enough for us anymore. You need to score 2. You need to score 3.
Yeah.
Gives them no chance whatsoever.
No, it doesn't. And I think I've always worried in the past when we'd get 1 or 2-0, but even 1-0 lead, and would sit back and try and defend that 1-0.
Yeah.
Our version now of defending is still being on the front foot.
Yeah.
If we've got the ball and we're the ones pressing, then you can't hurt us. It's a fantastic mentality to have. And look at that. Someone posted just before there. It had like the last 5 or 6 games it was, and I'm seeing like 5-0, 5-1s, 4-1s, 4-0s. You know,
16 goals in October.
there you go. I mean, how where? You know
That's
what I mean?
unbelievable.
And
Was
we've
it scored
conceded
16, conceded 3 or something
Was it
like
5
that?
games? 4
We've
wins
got
and
a
a draw,
we've
wasn't
got
it?
a positive 14 goal difference.
It's
It's ridiculous, isn't
Unheard
it?
of.
And, you know, and you've got that type of defensive record in stats like that, not being defensive minded.
Yeah.
So we're not defensive minded because we are defending from the front. Other people would say that and things, but we're not the team that would just sit there and hold on to the lead and defend. We are constantly on the front foot, and we've got these stats to prove.
Do you think that's though because we've now got the benefit of actually having a defense that can defend, which that now allows us to get
I think
forward.
it's
and
because they're
do that?
comfortable with the ball as well, though.
I am a massive believer though in this defending from the front. I really do, and I think you're pressing them into making mistakes. Like certainly on Saturday, I thought there's a few times we did lose the ball and then broke. And honest to God, man, we're just surrounded
Numbers,
them
yeah.
within seconds. There was just everyone was around the ball.
When we first came back up, we had a good defence. There was just a 2.5 year period, mysteriously between the summer of 2019 and last winter, where the defence went to shit. But the defence, Shea was a great defender. He was rash at times, and he wasn't as good as he is now. Don't get us wrong, but up until July 2019, July the 17th, 2019, to be precise.
But to the point that
he
we're
was
just-
excellent. Fernandez was playing really well. Clark was doing well. Kieran Clark, who was like awful at the start of last season,
Yeah.
he was excellent for Newcastle first season, a couple of seasons back up. And yeah, it's the defenses. It's kind of a complete side.
It is, yeah.
It's the defense is excellent. The midfield's full of energy. They're full of quality. They're intelligent. But the defense both augment the defense because you've got them kind of Bruno helping dropping back a bit, and Shelby when he's fit, he does quite a lot of that, dropping back, picking the ball up. But you've got Willicks in attacking midfielder, Bruno can be an attacking midfielder, Longstaff put that ball in for the Wood's really to do better. The whole team
I
is
still say
kind
that
of
the formation as well. That's been,
so-
that this 4-3-3 that we've been playing now since almost how kind of got in really
yeah.
is working wonders.
The way that Joe Linton and Willock would kind of swap happened a couple of times during the game where Joe Linton started off on the left side of the attack, and then for about 20 minutes he'd drop back a bit, and then Willock would be doing that.
Yeah.
It's just a good. It's not a good run of form. They're a good side.
Aye.
It's not like since we came back up, we've had a couple of good runs. We had it under Rafa, under Bruce, whatever. We've gone like. I'm complimenting. We've had a few good games, but for the most part, it's been quite turgid, quite very defensive, not good to watch. It's been a bit like, oh well, that was nice, but not really expecting to go and kind of really give teams a hard time. But now you turn up thinking, well, this is a year now. You know, it was January last year when they started this run, the Leeds game, and then all the Southampton when Bruno scored that back heel thing, and now we're here. It's November tomorrow. And all year they've been doing this. They've been getting at teams. They've been beating teams. They've started pumping teams now. And this, I'm not saying we're going to win the league out like that.
We are.
Although there was a point when we started. I thought, oh god, we are. I was thinking I was like plotting. I can see it happening now. But
It was nice to roll that one out again. It's been,
was really
it's been
nice,
a little
that.
while, but it was a bit ambitious. But it was
well, we are
nice
at some
to,
point.
nice to get there.
We're winning.
We do not have a ceiling.
No.
We are
No?
winning this.
But it was
That's what
just lush. You go at the game now and you know that we don't know they're going to play well because things can happen. But you can just be confident that the team is a good team, and this isn't the first team necessarily. You know, I don't think Longstaff's necessarily a first team player when everyone's fit. I think Joe Linton probably drops deeper, so Willock or maybe Almiron, and the front form Almiron's on. Is he as good as so Maximin also does more back in the team now?
But let's be honest,
he's brilliant. Don't get us wrong, and he offers when he came on. Well, even about 10 minutes before he came on, I thought if we get him on now, he can really cause them bother. Yeah. But I mean, the game was won, so I thought you can see why. Yeah. But like, he doesn't necessarily when he's fit. He's like, oh, he's back in the team. Or Isaac, like how does he fit in the team now? Yeah, and I'm not saying we're not going to play him because obviously we are.
But what a conundrum to have, though.
Lush, isn't it? I just wish.
Crazy.
I wish Kris Wood had scored for him more than anyone else because I like him. He scored goals in his career and it just hasn't. That was such a chance.
That chance that he had was just not. I think it was just an awkward height for him.
I don't know. Maybe he's on his right foot. I don't know. But from the build up with Murphy, Longstaff, Joe Linton's back here, back off, and then you think if that goes in, then that's as good as anything Miggy scored. Not just the finish, but you know the play beforehand.
You think that the week before? No, sorry, that was away. I know it might have been
Everton maybe.
When we had Bruno put it wide, but again with the football before,
when he put
it was almost similar to that in terms of back heeling and it was just absolutely unbelievable football that you haven't seen since the Keegan era, in my opinion. Like really, really good stuff. But I think I remember I've read a few managers' books in my time, and I think Wenger mentioned this as well, where you know when you come in and you change the philosophy of a team, it's really you hope and it's important that if it starts to go right, the players really buy in and believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And this is paramount now, I think, for us in terms of the players must think, do you know what it is actually? Like what he's telling them what to do and the way we're going to play. We're not getting pumped. Because maybe some of them might have thought, we really want to play City like this? Like really? We might get battered here. But obviously when you're starting to win so many games so comfortably and look so good, the players will be like, you know, it's actually whatever you tell me to do, mate, I'll do it.
It's
do you know what I mean? It, that confidence and belief.
I think you mentioned this on last week's recording as well, Besty. This is helping us out massively for attracting new players as well.
Oh God,
everybody want to be a part of this at the moment.
We're in a totally different position now to what we were 12 months ago. Where remember last January we got Trippier quite early on, and I still think Trippier coming in would have been attractive to. Yeah, and I said that at the time as well. But now we are looking at it's players wouldn't come, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise when you look at how Lingard's done. Ekitike hasn't exactly set the world like a PSG. He's still a young lad; he's got lots of time. But like people have gone elsewhere that we were looking at that I would have been Lingard was like I remember last year saying he's as good as we can expect to get.
Yeah.
It turns out I mean it's different. He's at Forest. He's on a different manager. He's got a different way of playing. At Newcastle, he wouldn't have been necessarily doing what he's doing at Forest. But we're now going to January thinking, well, who we want more or less, with the exception of. Like you say, Champions League clubs aren't going to want to sell. We're not going to pick like Salah up from Liverpool, you know what I mean? But from like the rest of the league, there's talk of Trossard today.
He's not getting ahead of Miggy.
There's talk of Trossard today, and you think, well,
if good plan,
why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And Brighton are doing well. Brighton had a great result against Chelsea at the weekend there, but then you think, well, you know, you can see the way Newcastle are going at the minute, and people in football will know that. You've got people on Twitter this weekend, like journalists saying Newcastle are here to stay, and now this is kind of just the start of it, which is thoroughly exciting. Like
I think players like that, you've got a chance. You're only going to be looking over your shoulder if it's a team that's in that top six who can currently offer them European football this season.
Established European. I think like Leicester. I mean, Leicester are an established European side. I still think we'll get Madison in January. I'm pretty convinced we'll get him. And 12 months ago, you wouldn't have had a cat and hell's chance.
It's just whether or not we'll still need him, though. That's obviously we've went and got Isaac in. Miggy's in the form of his life.
It's not. I think now it's not necessarily the fact if we need him, but if he's available, he improves that team once again. It's not like last January where we're looking at this thing. We need cover there for survival. We need this person to come in. We need to sharpen up here. I think if somebody like Madison is available, then I don't think the club will think twice about it.
I think it's. I think what's difficult to look at sometimes is like you see we're performing as well as we are. I mean, look at the weekend, man, and you think, who can you sign? Because at the end of the day, if you sign a player, your opinion is he's going to start, right? You're signing him to play.
Generally speaking, yeah.
And I just find it hard to do to actually say because we're playing so well with what we've got.
Who are you going to drop?
Who are you going to drop?
Yeah.
And I just find that I think that's the conundrum I'm in of like, yeah, all right, well, we probably can sign almost who we want, and there is better players out there. Maybe more historically than the likes of Miggy, because Miggy's had this wonderful run of form, but
yeah,
I couldn't drop Miggy. Like Do you know what I mean?
At the
So
minute,
it's just so hard to
that's
think,
the-
isn't it? Who
that's
are you
the
going to
thing.
buy? And
Something in my head is like, if you're realistically, if Newcastle win the league in 5 years' time, let's hypothetically, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If it happens, so the playing squad for the most part are going to be around. So Wilson's probably retired by that point. Nick Pope will only be 36, 37, so he could do it. For me, there's only really Botman and Bruno out of that first team that you'd say, yeah, that's a league winning side there.
Pope?
Nah.
No?
Nah. I like
because
Pope,
of age.
but no,
Isaac could.
Isaac, well,
If
yeah, I mean,
things will-
Isaac,
yeah.
I kind of forgot about him a little bit. But yeah, Pope, for me, I like Pope. He's a good stopper, but he did it again at the weekend where he went walkabout. The ball went through and he kind of came out his box and he didn't get anywhere near it and it went out in the end. And that's 4 or 5 games in a row now. He did it at Old Trafford, he did it against Everton. His decision, I like him.
There's
like
not many
him. He's a great
goalkeepers
stopper.
I don't think have. I think every keeper has these moments. Like De Gea
He's
does,
having a
Pickford
lot,
does,
though.
Loris does. Like all the top end keepers, I think have these moments. Like
You
I-
love
I-
Slate now. I keep us,
I
don't you?
I really don't.
That's it.
I would love
Every week.
I would love it. I would love it if Nick Pope had done nothing. If we hadn't conceded a goal and he was just picked them out, I'm not conceding this. I would love it. But the truth is,
Do you not think it's because he hasn't got a lot to do during a game, though?
well, he needs to concentrate better. Keep off the PlayStation. That was David James'
Gets
excuse.
bored.
That was David James' excuse. I get bored.
I
on
think,
the
I think
PlayStation.
that's really harsh on Pope, mate. If I'm honest.
I like him. Don't get us wrong. I do like Nick Pope. He's a very good goalkeeper, but
England's number one.
that's alarming to me. That how often that happens. I look at that and think like that's bad decision making. That is his depth perception gone or something. It's like I say, for 3 or 4 times in this run in this month where he's done it and it's not worked at all. Rashford went round him in Old Trafford. Fred pulled the shot wide
Yeah.
against Everton. Was one where he came out and I forget exactly how it worked out now. But he hasn't
There's been times where he's done that and he has come and swept the ball and
swept.
clear it away or came out and headed it away. And
He
So
has. I
it's-
think it was one at the weekend where he headed away from like as a sweeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not that I dislike Nick Pope. I like him. I don't dislike Caldalo. I just don't think he's good enough. But Pope is clearly good enough for where we are now, where we want to be.
So are you saying though you would change Pope not in January by any stretch, but you mean maybe some of them? Would you say? Them?
No.
No.
I
So
mean,
that's what
talking
he's trying to
to
say. In
right.
5 years' time, Nick
Okay.
Pope will not be the man
Right,
between the
okay,
sticks if we win.
if we're looking at winning leagues and stuff, I don't think you do it in the Pope and goal.
Do you think he's not as good as
Dubravka.
to be fair to you, when you
Ramsdale?
look at
Do you think he's better than Dubravka there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ramsdale?
yeah, I think better than Ramsdale.
Can Arsenal win the league with Ramsdale?
I don't think it will, but they could. I don't. He's not as good as like Edison, Becker.
well,
Alisson,
that's the thing. When you look at Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, they've gone through a hell of a lot of keepers to get to the point where they are at the minute.
Man City haven't really. Joe Hart,
I mean, Chelsea did.
Unless you go
Chelsea did, and Arsenal have as well.
Chelsea. I like. I forget what the keeper's called now. He's started making mistakes as well.
Yeah. I honestly, I find that in most top keepers do. I mean,
Alisson
they
does all
shouldn't,
the time, doesn't he?
They all do. Honestly, they all do. David De Gea has been doing it for years. I mean, he's not even part of the Spanish team.
He's not, but De Gea's kind of Loris
Yeah.
as well. You mentioned earlier. He's
Roger, I think you've gone all Gabby on with.
Gabby Logan.
Definitely not
Yeah,
Gabby
like-
Logan.
No, I hope I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Or maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. Like, but
he's been excellent.
he has been excellent.
I'm
Most
not-
clean sheets in the Premier League.
Yeah.
it's down to defense as much. If
we
Well,
have
it is.
just, we
if
have
Villa
just
and
changed
Everton
the goalkeeping coaching team as well. Obviously,
Yeah,
we've
that's
got
right,
a new head of goalkeeping, a new goalkeeper coach
I
come
don't
in,
think
so
his
that might help
distributions
the
is better than
situation.
I
It is
thought
better.
it was. I definitely think it's better than it
the
was.
clean
even if-
sheets thing, though, if you're not letting teams have shots on target, you're not going to
Yeah,
concede goals.
No, absolutely. But that surely is probably the only game we've
But
had where they haven't had a shot at goal. He's pulled
No,
off some
Everton as well.
didn't either.
Okay. Next.
But he has.
He has
I
made
think
those
he's made
saves.
the most saves in the league.
Against
Hasn't he, at one
Spurs,
point?
I think he
that's
did.
the case,
Yeah,
Mark.
against Spurs, he pulled off so great. The one off Kane, I still say with his feet was amazing.
The one from Son as well early
The
on.
one didn't he tip one on the post against Haaland, which was probably the best I've
Yeah,
ever
it was
seen.
brilliant save that.
Yes, he
I
did.
know
That was
I'm
a great
going
save. That was a
back in
great
the-
save. That.
Back in the history
it
books
was.
almost, but you know what I mean. No, I
There
think
was-
he's very good.
There were still times on the weekend, which I think about. I can't remember what he did, but there was 2 or 3 times when we sang his song, obviously in reaction to him doing something. Not that I can remember what he did, whether it's coming out and
But
punching
it was
one
when
clear
Martinez-
or
it
catching
was when
one or
Nicky was
something.
down.
Or
When Martinez was down, they sang it to him because he was doing those weird stretches.
I think it's just another luxury that. Do you know what it is? I think if we were up against it like Burnley were last season,
Mhm.
Nick Pope was in the top 3 goalkeepers. I think it was.
it's like we're seeing with
He
Dubravka.
was.
Dubravka was rated one of the best keepers in the league, but it was because he was facing 20, 30 shots every game.
Yeah.
So I think that the thing with Pope, I think it's very hard right now to say, yes, he's a top goalkeeper because he hasn't really had that much to do.
He's clearly a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He is. Maybe he's can't win the league with him. Maybe I was being a bit incorrect.
He's
about that,
backpedaling now, isn't he?
Oh no, I am. I've cool night today and all that, like, and stuff I hadn't considered previously. It's what adults do.
So people in the comments, there's no Nick Pope hate here. There's none
No,
whatsoever.
Nick Pope.
It's a debate. There's no
Nick
Nick
Pope.
Pope hate. Right, let's go straight to the first goal. Mark, we obviously the other side of the ground. Besty, you're the other side of the ground. Where were you sitting?
Leeses.
So right in front of you, basically, that area.
Yeah.
We screamed for that straight away, Mark, didn't we?
Yeah.
It looked like you could see.
The way that he slides in like that and his hands up in the air, isn't it?
I think he's a little bit. Now I'm going to say he's unlucky. I think it's a penalty. I think it's unfortunate in that I don't think he's tried to handle the ball and it's come from quite close. I think he's hit it with power, but it's a penalty.
There's nothing he can do about where his arms are because you can't slide with your arms on the deck.
So this is exactly.
So it's a penalty all day long, though.
It's a penalty because I got wrong for saying this. It is a penalty. I'm not saying it's not. But loads of people say it's an unnatural position for his arm. That's absolute.
You can't slide like that without.
What's unnatural if someone slides in has the arms by the side? That's unnatural.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like that's just no.
If you're
Mark, if you're sliding,
if you
in
run
everybody's arms up there. Like,
I tell you what, after this podcast, we're going to get you to run down the corridor and slide without putting your arms out.
Oh, the burns.
Nobody's gonna dive like that. You're not going down a slide at the fucking swimming pool. Like, I'm telling you now,
it's balance. It's like,
of course you are. I just find that argument unbelievable.
Would it not be more? I'm thinking, would it not be more behind you because you're stretching? I'm getting a bit far away from the.
That's probably a good thing. It's
rather than
it is handball. It is a penalty. It is. I just think this unnatural arm that to me, he's like that.
Oh, you can't get more natural.
Where my hand would be, it would be. Like I don't know.
It's not a deliberate handball.
No,
far from it, but it's a penalty.
No,
but you see the handballs that have been given over the past few weeks, whatever, as well. The one against Dan Burn, I keep going back to that was given.
The one from behind.
Yeah, against Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think that's terrible. That.
But that was the same. Remember when we got the one at Tottenham?
Years ago.
Yeah. People were on arms. That's disgraceful. Mourinho was going berserk. The one on Dan Burn's precisely the same.
Yeah. In both parts.
Yeah.
Even when we got that one at Spurs, I was like,
looky there, like,
fucking hell, looky there.
But if you're giving those as pens, you've got to give this actually young one as well. Like, so.
Yeah, it's definitely, no matter if you agree or if you disagree.
Wilson definitely fouls Loris, though.
Oh, we're not going back to that. We are not going back to that.
Wrong off, Mark.
So we'll get the penalty. It's just before the added on time, if I remember right.
51 minutes.
It's in the.
Is it in the added?
In the thick of it.
There's 5 minutes left, right? So bang in the middle of it, and so Wilson gets the ball, and there's a bit of a commotion, and it is there.
Watkins got booked, didn't he?
Is it Watkins that gets booked? Right. So there's a bit of a commotion because they're not giving the ball. I think it's Trippier that's after the ball.
Yeah.
And they just won't give it back. Then obviously gets a yellow card. Wilson is so bloody calm when he hits that back of the net. Like,
it was a clever penalty as well.
Straight down the middle.
Because you could, I don't know if it's because the keeper maybe goes a little bit early before Wilson's on the ball to strike it. Because to be fair, the keeper, he's gone the way that I'm expecting Wilson to put it. Because he tends to go to the keeper's right. So the keeper, is he thinking, well, this is where Wilson puts them. And he just goes that little bit early, which just then allows Wilson just to stick it down the middle.
I think when you go down the middle, side-footed like that, I still believe a lot of it is when on your run-up, you're watching the keeper to see if he moves.
Yeah.
Because you cannot just pass it like that if he doesn't move. So
exactly.
There has to be something in his mind while he's running going, when you move, I'll do it.
You've got to be so fast, though, to be able to do that.
I totally agree.
That must take years and years.
I would never take it. But me, I'd be like a Shearer, just pick the spot you're going to hit.
Exactly
that's it. No matter what, I'm going there anyway.
And that's why I'm thinking that does the keeper just go?
I agree. Because you cannot run up to a penalty and side foot down the middle. And you cannot put the ball and go, no matter what, I'm going to side foot down the middle.
It's embarrassing.
It would look terrible.
Yeah, just collect that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. So you must be watching him, and it's just a ridiculous talent to do
It's like what Ivan Toney does.
Yeah.
Jorginho as well at Chelsea. He picked that one in the Euros.
I think was it Balotelli used to do that as well. He's like stroll up and just wait until they move and tap it in.
He used to pass it in.
He used to do a five-a-side penalty, one step in.
Just awful.
I said Tony just kind of when he scored against, he's going to score.
Yeah,
and the keeper invariably puts it the way the keeper hasn't gone. So you don't need power. All you got to do is get on target, basically.
So it's as calm
Good
as you
time.
like, and you know, 1-0.
Very, very Wilson-esque.
Aye.
It was Callum Wilson, like it kind of encapsulated in
Yeah.
like one.
And Southgate
Action.
was there as well, you know.
Yeah, it
Honestly,
was,
God, it just meant loads. I
So
thought,
so we'll get the first, and we'll fire through the rest of the goals. So Wilson gets a second, and like you mentioned there, Southgate's in attendance, Deka. That was, I know he scored 2. Technically, he had the ball in the back of the net, which was disallowed, which was offside.
Hit the crossbar as well.
Hit the
bar.
crossbar.
Set one
But
up,
even the goal which was disallowed, that's showcasing something else to Southgate, what he can do with the ball at his feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting him to go around the keeper.
No,
No.
I wasn't
Far
either.
from it.
I
No, I
felt
wasn't
he
either.
had the time and almost positioned his body ready to go, and
Yeah.
then he decided, no, actually, I'll go around you. The second touch, because the first one, actually, if anything, I thought wasn't great,
Yeah.
and then his second one to just take it around him and score like that. God, it's just an amazing goal. That
Yeah.
unfortunately offside. The second goal that we do score, we've sat and talked about the changes at set pieces. I mean, it was again for there to
Yeah,
all
yeah.
see.
Aye.
What a lovely set piece that was. You know, to Almiron, little back here at the Trippier. He almost misses actually, doesn't he? Really, it's a bit of a
Doesn't quite-
scuff- Yeah, it's a bit of
yeah.
a scuffy header, but that'll count, right?
It's a
Sit
little,
down and-
a little bit kind of a bit of a kind
Yeah.
of skim rather than.
Well, we've done this the last handful of weeks.
Yeah.
Tried a few different things from corners. though.
Yeah. Honestly, loads, mate. Well, even the
Bruno
week
scored.
ago, the Bruno scored,
Yeah.
and that was another one which was a short one whipped in. We've had so many different little sort of routines and stuff. It's been up, but that one was lovely. Almiron to come all the way across, go short for Trippier, hold it up, and then back to Trippier was just amazing.
Well, we saw it at the time, Chris, when obviously when we scored, you saw a couple of the players pointing over to the dugout and pointing to Jason Tyndall,
Tyndall.
pointing
Is
at
that
him
right?
and giving them
Yeah.
giving them the thumbs up.
So it's Tyndall will playbook,
And,
man, is
and it was a
Possibly.
Tyndall play. And apparently, Callum Wilson then gave away a little bit of a secret in his post-match interview when they were talking about the goal, and it was actually a routine from the Bournemouth days.
I think did they score one against us like that once?
Well,
Actually, they did.
Did
I
Scott
don't
say
know-
that on
well, I don't
there?
know if they were in charge, and I don't know if Tyndall might have been there, but yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I honestly remember it was at the same end.
I think it was
And they just rinsed her, and it was a set piece that was just blocked everybody off, no problem, bang.
yeah.
Aye.
so it's nice to have that they've got these, because there
Brilliant.
definitely has been a bit of variety
I
in
heard
in
Wilson
corners
saying
and
that.
stuff
He
like
was
that.
saying that we've been waiting to use it and we haven't quite had
Yeah.
it. So
Well, then Eddie Howe got interviewed after Wilson and was asked about, and he says, "Oh well, I don't want to give away my secrets." And he went, "Oh well, Callum already has." So, but it's he was like, "Yeah, we've got a number of things that we'll bring
definitely-
out. You've got to have
yeah.
that a little bit of variety, so that the opposition don't know what to
Do
expect."
you know what it is? We're sat here as football fans, and we shouldn't be excited over this. This should just be a normal practice.
can you remember was it under Pardew where we went like a year and a half without scoring from
17 years without scoring from a corner.
We just and now because it was always just Lamp
Williamson?
Williamson, aye.
Williamson, Stephen Taylor, occasionally the back post.
Yeah. No
Come on,
matter if it
man,
was a
forever.
set piece, a free kick was the same,
Yeah.
corner was the same. And as a fan, you're sitting there, we're not qualified, right, to do the job. But Christ almighty, if you haven't scored in 12 months, let's have a little look at the drawing board here. What are we
Aye.
actually doing here?
Smithy that I stand next to at the
You know what I
game, he used to sit down because we're in the very back. Russell would stand for the most part. He just sat down every time at the corner. He says, "There's no fucking point in watching this."
Save me legs.
Oh, hey.
It's good to have that little bit of something up your sleeve, though, for a set piece like that, because when you've got the players that we've got, where you've got obviously 3 very big, tall defenders,
Mhm.
as an opposition, you think, oh, they're gonna hit it to them. So obviously they're going to mark those quite tightly, which then allows our other players in and around to be a little bit freer or to have a bit something more on the ball. But we're a big side, really, when
We're
you
big lads,
you
aye.
look at things across it.
There was one in the second half where Trippier took it from our corner, from the Strawberry corner, where I thought, oh, big damn Burn. But Burn was on the goalkeeper more or less. So I don't know if that's what he does every time. I've not really paid attention, to be honest with you. But yeah, because he was only think, well, the height of him. You just got to get on
Him,
it.
Botman, Share's tall, Longstaff's tall,
Joe Linton.
Big Joe.
Yeah.
So Fabian scored the absolute scream against Forest. Was
Forest,
it?
first game of the season. Aye.
Yeah.
Have any of our centre backs scored again?
No.
Botman hasn't. He's hit the post. Burns
Right,
hit the post.
He had that header, which was a tap in, but what a save it was. Was it?
Yeah.
Was that against? It was away from home. He headed it back over. The
It
keeper
was
made a number.
Wilson got the little tap in, didn't he?
Aye, he did. But anyway,
And for such a big side, and
Yeah.
Dan Burns got his head on a few of these that come in. He's meant at defending those balls.
Sorry.
I don't think they might pick that up, to be fair.
Oh,
But,
so it was a bad one.
That's when we started keeling over. That's
but when he's defending, burn mint at clearing those balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he's attacking the ball, like in the opposition box, the ball goes in a complete opposite direction.
I don't
to
think
the goal.
he's scored since he played for Wigan, and that's.
Did he not score for Brighton against us
I don't think so.
at our place? I've got a recollection of him scoring against us.
I may be wrong, but I don't think he did. I don't think
He'll
so.
get one before the season's out.
I hope so. I like Big Dan Burn.
Let's move on.
He's lovely.
He's
So
a great lad.
third goal falls to Joel Linton.
Joel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another different goal. It's something else we're
sweet.
seeing.
I thought it was offside. Like,
I did as well.
I haven't seen it again. It looks like surely it mustn't be because they would have checked it.
no,
Did they
no,
check
wait,
it?
it's tight. Like, it's tight.
It's
Well,
closer than I thought it was in the stadium.
What's mad is the second goal took quite a while to be given,
Yeah, it did.
compared to the third one, and I thought the third one was offside.
Yeah.
Like,
But the third one, the keeper puts the ball down ready for the free kick.
Yeah.
For ages, for a good minute
Aye.
or two, he's got the ball inside the box, and we're all kind of milling about.
yeah.
Burn
free guns.
scored against Man City for Brighton.
Did he?
apparently. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But the move, it was a lovely sweeping move from our box.
It was a break, wasn't
Straight
it?
through, lovely break. that
Willock
was.
did
Joe
brilliantly.
Willock.
Yeah,
His
Willock did,
energy,
yeah.
like you were talking about energy
Yeah.
before, Willock's energy.
He switched it on the second half because I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie, I was a bit worried about what Willock was doing in the first half.
Yeah,
I find this honestly, no, almost every week. He is a grower, not a shower, like because he starts quite slow and poor, I think, and then it then grows into the game, and then
Yeah.
by the end of the second half, when the game gets stretched, Willock then shines.
it's
in them
unbelievable.
moments.
He's very, very. The other, I say fit again. You just said there, Chris. They are. I mean, when Howe came in, he said we've got this way we want to play, but we can't do it yet because it's going to take time. And it's fitness.
Aye.
You can't come in and click your fingers and all of a sudden everyone's spending 90 minutes chasing down like they are now. It
It was quite mad, in the video. We all had a wank over it about what I did.
I know the one.
You know the one, don't you?
Aye.
Where it was literally the first one ever I've Eddie Howe, and he was like, "I know it's different, lads, but you need to pass and move." Like it was,
Yeah.
it was literally the basics of football.
There was a video of him down
He
Aye.
was doing the run. He was like, "This is what it is to run, guys." Like it was, and you knew it was going to take a bit of time, obviously, to get them up to speed. But going back to the Willock point there. I mean, as I say, when the game gets stretched, he just has the same energy levels all the time, which is amazing. But the guy who scored the goal on that third goal, I thought Joe Linton was excellent out wide on the left back.
brilliant. He
I
was.
thought he was
Very good.
brilliant,
Great game.
aggressive. Looked good on the ball, man. Like looked as if he could actually go past the player.
in front of the Brazilian coach as
That's
well.
true. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if that had
It's
to
not-
do with it.
Not hard against Matt Cash, though, is it?
Willock start-
Matt
Will-
Cash is a good centre. He's a good fullback.
Willock start on the left, though,
He
didn't he?
looked
Willock,
ordinary against him.
Willock start on the left, then that was switched.
No,
Joe
was like Maxi's position from
Joe
the start.
start, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
No.
switched at one point. 'cause
They
I'm-
did switch. They
It's a
switched.
switch,
Yeah.
but Joe was
Did it
out
right,
out
okay.
there majority of the time.
There was oh my god. I will go back to one moment. I think it might have been Shea, probably because he loves these. He did an absolute blistering ball from
On the
basically
first
where
half.
you would have a lovely view of it.
Yeah, I did. I
Full length. Joe Linton's touch, man.
Touch.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
It kind of brings it back a
Oh,
little bit.
I
aye.
just orgasm. Oh. and then he cut inside, and his shot wasn't the greatest, but he was on target.
Yeah.
That touch was just amazing. But he looked like he was up for it, and maybe the brilliant coach being there might have had something to do with it. But apparently, Wilson didn't know Southgate was there. I don't know if I believe that or not. I
Bollocks.
asked him, and he went, "Oh, I didn't know he was
Not
there."
having it.
I
Wilson,
just thought that,
Wilson, I was listening to
Everybody
the.
knew he was there before the game, like so.
Yeah.
Wilson said he.
I was
didn't
listening to the.
So I wouldn't have Joe Linton didn't know about Brazil.
I think it might be the Athletics one last week at one point where I think it was George Colgan said that Wilson asks to be asked about England in post game. Says, "Oh,
Does he?
Apparently, I think it was
You
George
can
Colgan
imagine
who said,
he's
he said,
cocky
"Aye."
as fuck, isn't he?
He loves
But
it.
do you know what it is?
Oh, I'm not really thinking about it, to be honest.
He,
with you.
he
If it happens,
probably,
it happens.
he probably has to do that because
Get
people
yourself
probably
noticed.
won't have
Yeah.
the conversation unless he brings it up.
There's no way, I know we've moved on from Joe Linton, we'll have to come back to him, but based on that performance and him watching, and not just that performance, because he's been doing it for a while. Like Southgate must have left there, I think he's now in his
Well, the last 2 weeks,
he's
they've-
not in pencil anymore.
They've
he's in
spoke a
Penn,
lot about him on,
But
on
even
Match of the Day and stuff like
Callum
that.
Wilson, they had that stat, like minutes per goal, I think it was, and it's Haaland,
116, I
him
think,
and
if I
Tony.
remember right.
Something along those lines. It's
Yeah.
good, like. But he's one of the only players, really, like since he was signed in, was it 2020 we got him?
Bruce.
On the Bruce, yeah.
Yeah, it was Bruce's second season, I think. Because it was Carroll and who was up top first season? Not Dwight Gale, probably. Like he's been excellent since the get go. He hasn't he obviously under Eddie Howe things have got better, and he's kind of getting the goals. He was always anyway. But even when we were shit, Callum Wilson was still
Class.
He was brilliant. He's been excellent all the way through. And there's not many. We talk about how good Miggy is now and how he was. People say headless chicken. People say quite a bit about his days pre Eddie Howe. So Maximin was he's been hot and cold and he's been injured a lot. But it's kind of, I think towards the end of last season he was looking brilliant. But Wilson's been that all the way through. He's been so consistent.
I don't honestly see his performance as any different.
No.
I see the same Wilson I did from day one.
Yeah.
I really do. I just feel
It's just that it's
Players
the
around him.
thing with him, isn't it?
That's
It's
what it
it's the fitness question that's always just going to be that doubt.
Wilson, to
hanging
me,
over him.
I look at Wilson and honestly, behind Shearer and Ferdinand, he's a man for me. Like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
like I mean, he's gone past Remy, Bar, Cisse. And he seems to love it here as well. You hear what he's been saying and stuff like that. And it's like he's part of Newcastle now. Like, you know, he's one of ours totally. And it's not like he's going to be here. And he'll go to. He might have a little move kind of back down south when he gets a bit older and he's kind of hasn't got the legs anymore. But he'll always be for me like he's part of this kind of one of the big successes since we came back up, and he's kind of bridged because he was so good under Bruce all the way through Bruce really. And now latterly under Howe, like he's the one that he's one of the ones that's bridged the two eras, if you want. He kind of clags them together. And he's, for me, I said earlier, when he's that gets fit again, you don't drop Wilson from, right?
So I'll stick with you, Besty.
Go on. You do that.
Does Wilson go to the World Cup?
Yep. It's one of those ones where
it wasn't.
I thought you
He
was
does. He absolutely does. But then
if he stays fit,
I'm in a half a mind. I wouldn't mind if he didn't go.
for selfish reasons.
I want him to, again, selfish reasons because we've got, we'll saw what happened to Michael Owen in 2006. But the same with Joe Linton, he was such a big part, but they deserve it.
Yeah.
And these lads, this is what we have got to get used to. Now we've said it all on previous weeks, months on this podcast, where if we want to be winning leagues, battling for Champions Leagues, whatever, we're going to have players that are going to be going to World Cups, going to go to Cup of Nations, maybe in Africa, they're going to be going to the whatever Cup of America. Bruno's going to be going over there. Joe Linton might be, so these are the type of players that we need to have in the team, that we've got to attract players that want to go and play in World Cups. And Callum Wilson, for me, he's got to go.
He's eager.
After
he is.
If he picks like Calvert-Lewin ahead of him, or he picks,
It'll be a joy. He deserves a place in the squad.
well, at least the 55 manner that's coming up.
He's in that. He's in that.
He's
for
he
sure.
must be.
Yeah, he's in
100%
that.
he's
I
in
think
that.
the only disappointment a little bit is I actually think we're going to have a shit World Cup.
Yeah,
I hate that he's like. I wish it was going to be one that I was actually thinking we had a chance at, because I honestly think we're going to be dreadful. But having said all of that, I would love to see Pope starting. I want to see Trippier on. I'd love to see Wilson leading the line. I really would. I'd love it. I'd love it. Obviously, I understand Kane's obviously going to start, and that's fine.
I've got an opinion on this. So,
Nobody cares.
Target comes on.
wow.
Target comes on,
Uh-huh.
and it is Botman that leaves the field.
Yeah.
And Dan Burn gets
Burn
moved to
with
centre
the
back.
middle. Yep.
Is that to showcase him at centre back while Southgate's in attendance?
I don't think Eddie Howe would do that. I don't think Howe would. I don't think he thinks about, I'm going to do this so he gets the England team. He just wants to win the football match.
Yeah, tactically in that
Because
moment.
We've already won it at that point, mind.
I honestly don't think that comes in Howe's thinking.
But if that's the case, why didn't he just take Burn off for Target?
Because Botman might have been hurt. He might not hurt, but I mean, just.
We don't know that for sure.
You don't know.
Well, why does
He never broke stride or sweat, man.
why
at the weekend.
bring Willock off for Murphy? Is that because Murphy's going to get an England squad?
No, that was a tactical change. Because obviously they were stretched at that time.
Well, could Dan Burn get moved to centre half and Matt Target coming on for Botman not be tactical as well?
So
Hit him with a natural left back.
Well, it's not really it's not tactical, is it? Moving him from left back into the centre and taking Botman off. If you were just going to
put a left back instead of centre half tactical, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So why wouldn't you just take Burn off for Target?
Maybe he's Botman had a little knock.
Because I think Botman was not feeling it, but I mean, like maybe just give him a breather. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm more with
Why
you.
bring Lascelles on? For
I think it's.
Lascelles getting England squad. You're talking about for sure.
You never know when two of the choices are Harry Maguire and Tyrone Mings.
That
Maguire played
was
well this
a
weekend.
beautiful moment though when Trippier ran straight away.
I love that. Like
stripped the armband off and put it. That was fun, brilliant. That was
it just shows you the class of Trippier once again, though, isn't it?
Just straight over the second he seen him.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Talking about players that won't be around when we win the league, if we win the league and stuff. Lascelles is obviously kind of. I think we all know he's not going to be there.
Yeah. We'll win it this year, so Lascelles will still be there.
I don't know, but I'd like to think like.
He'll get a medal at least anyway because he's been on. He's played.
Remember towards the end of last season when Gale came on a couple of times and it was like, it's kind of like we know it's his farewell. I hope Lascelles gets something like that. Maybe even a testimonial.
Testimonial.
Hang
Wow.
on, I mean, it's only when we got in
It's been
2015.
here a long time now, isn't it?
2015, we
Yeah.
signed him so much. We went back to Forest on loan. We got relegated. He all captain and all that.
I'm sorry, like I'm not having a testimonial for Lascelles.
I'll have Lascelles and Darlow have a joint one.
I'm not having it.
I
Not
hope so. I
having it.
really hope so, mate. 'Cause
Really?
I'll go. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what would be mad as well?
Lascelles has been
that would
massive for
sell out.
Newcastle.
That would sell out. And Rob Lee's had about 25,000 there.
It was Bilbao. I
It's
remember
upsetting
sitting.
that, you know.
I was
It's
sitting in
upsetting.
Melbourne with my dad for that, and it was like 23,
It
24,000.
was,
maybe.
he's the best in, man.
It was the first time I'd seen Laurent Robert play. He hit a free kick, and I
Aye.
remember the noise the ball made.
Yeah. Well, do you know what it
wow.
is? I went there with my shirt on. I'm sorry, I will go back. I had a Shearer shirt, obviously, all the time, right?
Aye.
And I remember, honestly, I went to that Bilbao game and seen Robbie, and I went straight to the club shop, bought the same shirt again, Robbie
Robert.
32 on the back.
He was what a player.
I
he
was like,
Oh, he's
this
the
guy, I
best.
fell in love with him. Like,
Absolute best.
sorry.
Is Lascelles and Darlow our longest serving players outside of Dummett?
I was going to say Dummett. I would assume so.
Shelby
No,
was a
Shelby
bit
came.
later, wasn't he?
Shelby came in the. Well, it's weird because Lascelles and Darlow went back to Forest on loan when
Yeah.
we first signed them. So technically, they've been here longer. Though Shelby,
Isaac Hayden.
no, he didn't sign the
Nah,
relegated.
Hayden was, yeah.
Hayden came with Gail Ritchie,
Yeah.
Hanley.
Also said some
Marcel's.
lovely comments about how, even though he had left and never had a sniff on that, how
Yeah,
said some lovely
I think
comments
there will
about
be.
in the media.
So a few shouts saying Paul Dummett gets a testimonial first. I'm not having that either.
Yeah,
He'll already be over.
Listen, we can't be
Well
giving
over 10
testimonials
years.
of
big
these individuals.
Dummett scored on
Oh,
the day I got married, and I've had my 9th anniversary. So, due to Liverpool.
Let's get to the big talking point though in the game.
Oh,
Miggy's goal.
Miggy Almiron
Oh.
does it again, Deka.
yeah. Oh my
He
God.
keeps on scoring the same goal, but gets further away.
What I
I'm
do.
expecting him to do this at halfway line next week.
Well, I mean, obviously, goal of the month. I think he's got at least 5 in there or something. But anyway,
Yeah.
I said this to Scott after the game, right? Like, I don't understand how he's generating the power he's generating. Like, because I know you might be confident, right? Now, to me personally, right, confidence is having the ability. Sorry, the thought process of I think I can score from here. That's
Yeah,
confidence.
Seeing
right?
seeing that space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Confidence doesn't mean you all of a sudden hit the ball harder. That's. But if Almiron tried that 2 years ago, that would have just rolled at the
The
goalkeeper.
keeper would have caught it, wouldn't
Honestly,
he?
we just caught and laughed, right? So, I don't know what's going on. Obviously, technique and training with coaches, whatever. But he is just opening his body up there, and the power on the ball, man.
I think
It's
it is a
just-
bit of confidence. Joe
Well,
Linton's the
yeah,
same way.
it
It's
is.
like if you're not confident, maybe you think, oh, I'm just going to try and play it safe and just try and put it in the corner or something.
No, but that's what I mean though. Again though, like I still say confidence is more so like you've got the belief that I can score.
Yeah.
But the power he's generating from his shots, I have never seen that before.
But if you're confident, you're striking the ball better, aren't you? You're more confident in hitting it.
Yeah, well,
So
maybe.
therefore you're getting a better
Well,
more power, more technique.
I'm enjoying that.
Go on, son. Go
I'm
on
putting
then.
his little spin
He's
on
like
it.
that,
He's been doing into the
Thingy for Leeds.
The Manchester for the weekend.
It's like when you're growing up, right, and you get your first FIFA, and you realise the finesse button.
Yeah.
That's Miggy. He's
Well,
just realised
He's
what
also
to
that
do.
new power shot on FIFA. He's
Oh,
like
aye.
that a bit. But honestly, like, take the goal out of it just for 1 second. You know, like he's always been fast. Like we've always said,
Yeah.
he works really hard. He's dead quick. Sometimes now when he is running, he's not even touching the grass, man. He's literally just gliding. Like he's so fucking fast.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
confidence.
But the
that,
way
well, that is that is confidence. No, that is confidence, though, definitely. And even if you go back to the Spurs game, we'll talk about confidence. Is that there's no way the old Miggy would have went and took that fullback on.
nah,
He would have maybe brushed him off, maybe, and then went, I'll pass it inside.
play back to
I'll
Bruno,
come back
maybe,
and
yeah.
pass it in. But he had the, I'm sorry, I'm going back here, but had the audacity to take it on there. But on that goal there that he scored there, I mean, opens his body up, and my God, did it take a nick? It probably
you
did.
know what?
I'm yet to see this Nick that you're
I
going on
think
about.
it-
I saw the
That's
clip.
the first time
probably,
I've ever mentioned it.
the clip-
No, him.
Oh, right.
so probably the clip that you were referring to on Twitter last night, I think it was Besty, or maybe Saturday evening, was whenever
It
it
was
was.
yesterday morning. I watched that match of the day again.
So I've seen the same clip, and I'm still undecided. I can't figure out if it does or if it doesn't.
I think the one to look at is the one. Is it the one that comes from behind Miggy, but it's quite close in, so you can't really get a full. But it looks like when he hits it, it comes off like Mings' studs.
Mhm.
And if it's the one view that it looks like it happens, but if you say oh, it definitely happens there, then it happens, doesn't it? But it looks like it just takes it away from the keeper and puts a bit of whip on it, so it kind of.
Yes, that's exactly what I think.
Which is it. I don't want to take anything away from Miggy because it's something that Deka says about when he picks a ball and moves. On that one, you could see as soon as you got the ball, he's driving the edge of the box. Like, oh, hang on, he means this. Something's going to happen here. Because it's not Miggy, again, picking the ball and stop and having a look and go, I'm going to go down the line and stop and pull back for a trip. Yeah, he goes, right, I'm going to drive out of here. Confident, unconfident Miggy doesn't do that. So as soon as he gets the ball forward, and you think, they're in trouble here with Villa. It's a lovely hit. It might well be that it goes in if it doesn't get a touch, but I do think
it was. I mean, we're right behind it, aren't we?
But it does look as if the ball moves a fair old bit off Mings' boot. And not that it matters.
Even at the, because I think we were probably surprised that he'd gone for it from there, and we're directly kind of looking at it.
His first touch is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
His first touch just to knock that past the man, then that opens that window up.
Yeah.
The audacity to just open his body and bend it like that from that distance at that speed.
Will he ever score in the
with
right
that confidence?
Do you think so? So I'll ask you. Do you think Miggy will get in the England squad?
He should.
Wasn't Miggy's first ever goal for us with his right foot against Palace?
I can't remember.
The way he volleys it, it kind of bounces to him about 10 yards out.
What I would say though about Miggy is, do you like his opinion? Is this just a run of form? Or is this permanent? Is this the Miggy? maybe take the goals out. I don't think he'll score. Craig, he's not going to score.
So I think what's helping
now.
is Kieran Trippier massively.
Yeah.
And Bruno, because at least once a game you'll see that ball from Bruno where he just dinks it over the top, in behind the back four, and the fall for it every single time. And it works. And I think you could probably say this about any player on that field. We just said about Wilson. If the rest of the players are around that one individual, then of course their performances are going to go up. And Miggy's showcase now what we thought we were going to be receiving when he first signed.
Well, that game against Huddersfield, his debut, when he got the fella sent off, he chipped one off the post, and someone was like, "Hang on, who's this? Who's this cat?"
I think even if you let's say he doesn't score that goal on Saturday, Miggy still played really well.
He played excellent.
That's what I mean. And I'm not expecting him to score 30 yards every week. I'm not. It's lovely.
He's in that Willock run of form that he had, obviously, when he was on loan, isn't he? Where everything he touched went in. And that can happen.
We mentioned this last week, though, Deka. It's not just this season, it's pre-season as well. We've seen him right the way through. He's confident coming into the season, and that's stuck with him. And what's he got? 3 goals possibly in October. That could be up for goal of the month.
I'd say the volley at Fulham,
Everton,
and this one. This deflected one this weekend there,
Stop calling it a deflected one.
That's never. I honestly thought, well,
it looks like it is.
To me, like
it doesn't matter.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I can't say. Well, if it is, it is. It doesn't matter. I hope it's got 100 deflected goals every season.
Every time you've seen that replay, you haven't even an ounce of you have thought, I think I might have hit his boot.
No.
Wow, unbelievable. That's unbelievable. You can watch.
I don't unless I haven't seen this.
If it was St. Maximin,
this one
it's a huge touch of his dinner. The keeper's totally blinded by that.
That was gone way out of play, man.
I was going to eat and banks.
It would be like
100%. Right. Let's go through some questions. We've been going for nearly an hour already, so we're fine. So this one is from Scott.
Our Scott.
Good lads.
Hello, Scott.
What do we call Scott?
Our Scott.
Gallowgateshots, Scott.
Gallowgate Scott.
Gallowgate Scott. He says, is there any worry over keeping hold of our top players? With performances like we have been producing, the top clubs in Europe will come sniffing soon enough. I'll start this one off. I don't think we'll have to worry about most clubs coming for the players. Yes, we've touched on the likes of Real Madrid coming in for certain ones.
This is so different.
I know it's mental.
It's mental. I don't think we sell unless a player is literally requesting to leave. We don't have to.
I think it might come to that at some point.
Mm.
I mean, I suppose it was different with Kabay and PSG because we were where we were at the time.
Yeah.
But if Madrid coming for Bruno in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, and we're not in the Champions League yet, I think we will be. But if we're not, then
yeah, that's fair enough. Like if we aren't achieving what we hope we would be achieving by that kind of time period, because you'd hope within the next 3 to 5 years would be challenging up there. That's the ambitions of the owner, which is
getting carried away.
Is amazing to hear.
Giddy.
So if we're not hitting those targets and Bruno or whoever is still performing at the level that they are at this moment in time, and we can't fulfill their ambitions, then you've got to hold your hands up and allow. If it's a move to a big team that can give them that.
I think we don't sell a top player to the Premier League club, another Premier League club. No chance in hell.
I don't think it would want to go to the exceptions. Would probably be Liverpool or Man U. Man City are obviously Man City.
City'd be the.
But I don't think when Bruno was a bairn growing up in Brazil, he's thinking, I want to go, because Man City weren't Man City, though. You know, they were maybe in League One, League Two, or it was his Sven years.
It'll be Barcelona.
It'll be Liverpool, Man U, because they've got the story, they've got the history, they've got the romantic kind of.
They've got the name.
Yeah,
they've got that power.
Real Madrid, Barcelona. Other than that, like clubs that are like at that level, I think they'll be in that level in Italy, Milan on that. Italian clubs aren't that level now.
PSG's obviously the other one.
I don't think PSG are.
I don't think we've got anything to worry about whatsoever.
I'm with you
at all.
Short term, unless Real Madrid go right, there's 100 million.
Long gone are the days of us having to worry about whether or not we might sell our best talent.
As it goes at the moment, you're talking about now, there's no better place to play football than it is.
The thing
in the world,
I wouldn't, even if we did have to, if it happened in the summer, maybe we finish 7th or in the Conference League and Bruno goes, that could be a Champions League football and let's say Madrid come in, because that's what all the talk's been. Would replace him. It might not be as good a player, but I'd be confident that. Remember when we sold Andy Carroll and got Shepki Kuchi in? That doesn't happen again. We'll get some the goal right. We've got this wedge of money.
But I don't think Bruno's was expecting Champions League football in the summer either. Do you know what I mean? I think.
I don't think it would be.
The map would have been a few more years on, and I think the love and the connection he's got with us is probably unlike anyone. Actually, if I'm being honest, certainly the way the romance at the minute is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
if that wasn't quite as strong and he was just keeping himself to himself and just went home, blah blah blah. Then I'd maybe say if Madrid come in from, he would be off, because he's admittedly said they're his club.
Yeah,
but what he has with us and this romance he's got, for me, he's can't.
I think the one player that you could possibly argue who currently isn't in our starting 11 is St. Maximin.
Yeah. And is that just because he hasn't been in the team? Do you think
he hasn't been in the team? And obviously we don't know St. Maximin, but you would imagine that he likes to be that player that's getting the attention at a football club. He's not getting that in this squad at this moment in time.
Where does he go though?
It would be a sidestep.
I mean, would it be PSG? Are PSG going to drop Neymar or Messi?
No, it'll be a sidestep. That's what I mean. It'll be a sidestep where you could possibly see him going to another Premier League team, or a sidestep into a European move to somebody that's in the Europa League.
I don't know if I could see him going to another Premier League team. I don't know where else he would fit, to be honest with you.
A big team where he can be a big fish in a small pond, like he was when he came here.
Someone like Everton or Villa, or like a mid-table Premier League team that are. I don't see it.
He's better than that.
He's better than that, but I don't. By the same token,
that's what he.
I don't see him
going
going
to be and to do.
Does that mean you're going to stay there forever? Like,
but we're
talking top form. We've got Jake Murphy coming on running circles on people, man. People can grow. People can become better.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't mind. He did as well, man.
He did. He was fantastic. He's not the answer.
It's amazing how they've adapted.
I'm in the England squad, but I mean,
St. Maximin for me, Newcastle's probably the right club for him at the minute.
I don't think he goes anywhere higher.
No, I don't think.
No.
I think his ambition stops him from going to, with all the respect in the world, to someone like Wolves, Southampton, where they're not going to be in Europe in the short medium term.
I think
he wants to be playing. He wants to be in the France squad. He's said so much. Yeah, so he's got to be playing as the best level he can be. And I think that's us at the minute.
Weekend,
I think Newcastle and St. Maximin are pretty much a good fit. And if we keep getting better, he keeps getting better, they'll continue to be.
Let's be quite. I understand he's been out a long time now, right? Yeah. And it just pisses off, right? Don't get us wrong, right? But you go back to when he was playing, and I'll go back to that City game. I mean, Jesus Lord, like, ripped them apart. And it wasn't just that game, but there's other games. Every single conversation was, not from around this table because he hates them, but like other people would say, oh, he has to be playing. He'll be wanting to play Champions League football. He should be playing Champions League football. He's the only good player they've got. Like, he's the biggest player they've got. All that. Of course, that narrative's changed now. I'm not saying it hasn't, but him as a player wouldn't have changed. Like, he still wants to be able to play the highest level, and he ain't going to leave us to go to Southamptons of the world and Villas of the world.
Nah.
In his mind, and this will be big-headed, he would only leave us to go to an Arsenal he wouldn't go, and them wouldn't want him.
No, but the question he was saying was, if he isn't getting his game, if he's not getting into the team,
he's still ain't going to Villa or Southampton.
Why we're looking at them? Can we not look at somebody like West Ham?
Maybe it's a French,
Everton.
Maybe someone like Lyon or Marseille, a French side who are in Europe. That would be my guess.
Yeah, and that would be a crying shame, if I'm honest, because Well,
They're good sides.
having said that, I mean, I'd hate him to play for anyone else in the Premier League. By the way, that would really
Oh, yeah.
hurt us. To be fair, but for him, it would be awful for him to just fuck off to Marseille or something. I don't say Marseille are a bad team.
Marseille are a great club.
We're not sat
But
here
in the
saying
French
that.
league, though, like, it would be
that
a
we
bit
wanna
of a
get-
waste, bit of a waste of a player.
We're not sat here thinking, we want to sell Sane.
No,
But
no.
I think if that's the one key player that will leave the club, I think he probably would be top of that list.
Thing is,
For game time, probably at this moment in time.
yeah, maybe.
But he
I don't see it happening.
But
Like,
he'll be
but
straight in the team when he's fit.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's straight in because
Yeah.
as much as I know Joe Linton's been amazing out there, see you.
Or,
Saint is
I
back
think
in.
you don't drop. You drop.
Saint is back
Maybe it's Willock and put Joe Linton deep. But Joe Linton.
Yes,
is-
maybe, yeah.
out of the
Joe
kind of-
Linton is not getting out that starting 11.
I tell you what it is. I want to mention Murphy earlier. We just mentioned there. But we mentioned how he played the little bit with Joe Linton and Longstaff for the
Beautiful.
wood chance. When Wilson hit the crossbar, Murphy put the ball in.
Yep, left
The
foot.
cross in that Mings cleared, but Joe Linton's at the
Murphy
back
hit the post
Murphy
himself
put
with
the
a
ball in.
great
Murphy
run.
hit the post. Murphy, after he came on, everything went through him.
He was
He
unbelievable.
was absolutely brilliant.
He
He was. I'm not saying he's all of a sudden Ginola reincarnate. The Ginola's not dead, so he can't name a stand after him.
But do you know?
Match on
Do you know what it is?
He was,
Murphy? I need to go back years here, right? That was my biggest gripe with Murphy, right? That he
Yeah.
would come on and run the ball out of play. I mean, I'm talking doing things that it was if a fan had been picked.
Yeah,
up on.
he's done some. His end
Literally.
product's been awful at times.
And I
like-
used to think, is he actually just shit scared of coming on to the game, to the pitch, and
Yeah.
in a bad game, in a bad environment? It was some bad environment.
Yeah, it wasn't enjoyable. No.
It
True,
wasn't.
that's
It wasn't. And I think maybe that might have affected him. But in terms of a cameo, that was his best buy.
He was outstanding.
Absolutely.
He was
Has-
outstanding that last
Has
half hour or
any
so.
other player in the history of football hit the woodwork more than Jacob Murphy?
Right.
It is ridiculous how many he hits
Aye.
off the post.
You see him. There was a video. I think
It's a good
Scott put
effort
it on.
on Saturday, wasn't
Or was it Darryl put it in our WhatsApp group? Where you can see him just go fuck
Fuck
off
off.
afterwards. Like that.
He was very
He must
unlucky
be
with it.
sick
Like.
as the rest of it.
Aye.
it? Wasn't it?
Because it's great.
Yeah,
I
it's
honestly
a
thought it was in
really
the
good
back of the
list.
net as well.
Aye.
Do you know, I sometimes get annoyed defensively for us as well. You know, when you see a player come inside and you're like, Jesus Lord, lads. Like, it is the most obvious thing on planet Earth he's going to come inside. But there was moments in the game when Murphy was coming inside. There was fuck all you could do about it.
Mickey?
When
When
Mickey
Mickey
just-
comes inside, aye.
you know he's going to
the
do it.
pace that they come at you at.
You just
isn't
can't
it? You
stop
can't react to it.
It's like prime Robin. You know what I mean? Like he's he's
exactly
going to come
that.
inside, but there's just nothing you can do.
So you've mentioned the left hand side.
just said
Joe
Murphy,
Linton.
prime Robin. Jesus
And
Christ.
Joe Linton. Joe
You
Linton.
know what? You know what we need to do to stop that is start playing a left back at right back so they can come in on the left foot.
Yeah, fuck.
That's what it is.
So Joe Linton suspended
Yes.
for the
He is,
trip
yeah.
to Southampton. Who comes in that team now? Do we see Sane come back in? Do we see Shelby come
I
in?
think maybe
Do we
John
see
Joe
Murphy come back in?
I'd
What
bring
game's it for?
Shelby.
Sorry, apologise.
Southampton.
Next weekend.
No, I think even if Saint's ready to go, and I will keep that same team. Honestly, I do. I think you've seen it with
Somebody did listen to the question there, didn't
sorry, what was it?
Joe Linton suspended.
Joe Linton suspended.
Oh, is he?
so he misses the game.
I think did he get booked in the game?
He got
Yeah, he got
booked.
booked,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fifth
So
yellow card.
accumulation of bookings.
I think he might go for Murphy.
Yeah.
I think he'll go for Murphy
I
left
think
wing.
John Joe. If John Joe's fit, I think he comes back in.
Oh, and play
So
Joe
Willock
Linton
stays on the left.
Yeah.
Joe Linton's not playing. He's suspended.
No, Willock. No, nah.
I'd like to see Shelby come
Nah.
in, but
Nah.
he'll bring Murphy in.
I think John Joe and then Willock starts. Murphy comes on second half. Well, after an hour.
It's
Willock
out on the left, though.
wing just
Yeah,
upsets us.
He
like,
did it times on Saturday.
So who do
Ah,
you think
in
Murphy?
spells.
Well, I wasn't saying really. I mean,
No.
you know, the last time
I
we
think
played,
it's too early.
well, that's me. He hasn't really had any game time, has he?
What
Murphy's
why-
performance, that last 20 minutes, he deserves to start.
Yeah,
If there's a position available.
That's true.
Which
That's
was-
true, yeah.
Because if you don't know, Joe Linton suspended. Yes, I will
Is
play
it?
Murphy there. I'll play Murphy there.
What was the point of bringing Saint on for 4 minutes?
Just to get him used to the pitch again.
Fanfare.
Get him on.
fanfare, it's just
No,
a bit-
like
Why not?
I was
why?
glad that you made that
Well,
choice.
why not?
We've got an extra sub.
What is
God,
4
you
minutes?
really hate
Because
him,
he
don't
wants
you?
to get him
No,
in
no,
the
but
French
what
squad.
is-
He gets him
really
in the
him?
France squad if he brings
I can't even bear to see him for 4 fucking minutes.
What does 4 minutes out on the pitch do for his fitness?
upsets you.
Gets him an appearance fee.
No, I'm not.
Eddie watches this. he goes,
I'm
"Fuck, I'm gonna
thinking
piss
about
Mark off."
from the point of view of why not just keep him till next week
Well, because you
for the
can.
sake of 4
Just
minutes?
stretch his legs
Because you
in,
can.
in a game.
We'll have the extra
Ah,
sub.
but it'll be our bloody fortune that he comes on for 4 minutes and pulls his hammy again.
Nobody could get near him anyway, man.
It just seemed a waste.
Are you
I've
like, fair
never
enough, I'll take
ever
it on the
heard
chin.
someone.
Are you
complain
excited
about
that he's
that
coming
before?
back? Are you excited to have him back in the team? Maybe
So
coming
what, So, Chris, what did I say to you?
Look,
with
dodging the question.
20, 25 minutes to go in that game.
You said, "Oh, fucking hope I don't see St. Maximin."
No, I didn't. What did I say?
You said that if St. came on, he'd absolutely run circles around them.
Oh, fair enough. Must have hurt you, that, did it, to say that?
No, because
Then do nothing with the ball.
contrary to your popular belief, I don't hate him. I just don't always think the sun shines out of his arse. But there's, I have spoken and you've laughed and said absolutely not at this, but this was what I was saying is when get him on as a 20-minute impact sub and he'll have the defender's life. If we'd brought him on at that point in that game, but when Murphy came on and did exactly the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, that would have been a good opportunity. And I can understand then giving him 15, 20 minutes because you're actually going to help him get into a game. You're going to give him a bit of fitness.
I think
but when it gets to 4 minutes from the end, what's the point?
If we're looking at it, right? If I can't believe I'm having this conversation, but if we're looking at Jacob Murphy coming on the field, Jacob Murphy, he's full of confidence as well.
Yeah.
Saints probably the polar opposite of that. Hence why probably Saints had
Saints
the
never low on
diamonds.
confidence.
He probably will be because he's
yeah.
out of this team and he's probably going to struggle to get back in it and keep that spot in it as well.
Is that not going to make him on his car?
Oh, and his Lambo.
When we had Thomas on the week, we were talking about me and him talking about the St. Maximin flag in the Gallowgate towards the end last season. Was it Leicester game? I forget which game it was now. But we said that the timing was
been on a
perfect.
poor
The timing was perfect because that was kind of right. We're with you, we know that I was basically, and he was superb.
Yeah.
And he started, so confidence. Yeah, I think confidence can affect him. And you say, what's the point in bringing him on for 4 minutes? If the game's gone, there's not much of a chance that Ashley Young's going to go in or Matty Cash is going to go in fucking knee high him and so get him on. Let him run around.
You still rolled around on the floor a couple of times.
Get on the ball.
When you say about confidence, it could also be to give him that share of coming on the field, like that real ovation from the crowd of like, they still love you type of thing, which, well, someone would do. But no.
It just seemed a bit. I know you're not wasting a substitute.
Well, we've got the extra sub.
We had to use anyway.
You hit these subs. There's mad Togger come on. Why is he come on?
I'm like you with the goalkeepers.
I'm like, okay,
there's a lot of hit on the wide area.
The wide lads.
I didn't see that.
I think that obviously we'll get the extra substitution because of the
concussion.
Yeah, so Villa having to use theirs with concussion, and I think it's a decent sub by Eddie Howe. I think it's just to get Saint on the field. Just give him a couple of minutes. Who cares how long it's for?
But if you're going to bring him on, give him longer.
It could be worse. It could be doing what Bruce was doing with Andy Carroll and putting him for 90 seconds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, more or less.
More
or less was.
No, it wasn't. He wasn't.
He had a couple of runs in defence. Was one he went
straight down the middle. He got it on the left hand side and he just went. Whoop,
to be fair, for the time he was on, I suppose he's always going to cause trouble. Bearing in mind how tired them were and probably just beating the were. Yeah. But even in them few minutes he was on, you could tell, I thought this is.
He'll be desperate to play football again. Yeah. He'll be desperate to get out to James's Park and Stamford Bridge in a couple of weeks, whatever. Why not just bring him on? If it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, bring him on.
I think I've been so nice to Murphy. I think I have to say something negative.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. No, I do.
Why?
I definitely do.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why do you have to say something negative?
The game. No, just wait a second. Not the Manchester United. Was it the Man United game?
Well, he's come back 3 months to find something negative.
No. The home game we played, was it Everton? There was a home game we played and Murphy started and he was absolutely honking. Right?
Might have been Everton.
Really, but his touch was terrible. And obviously then this game, it's just night and day. Absolutely unbelievable. I still believe, though, that I think he deserves to start more than Maxi does if we're against Southampton because Joe Linton's suspended. And then... But what I'm going back to Mark's 4 minute crack is that I think Maxi will get a lot longer though. I think Maxi might come after an hour, for example, and get him a lot.
Do you think it's a gradual move to bring him back in?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
I think if you've got them running as much as Howe's got them running, if you're coming back from injury, you've got to be more conditioned, haven't you? You kind of just come back,
which is why not just give him another week?
Well, why not give him?
Chuck him on for 4 minutes?
Well, that 4 minutes could be 4 minutes.
It's just a bonus 4 minutes.
It's 4 minutes. 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes of more conditioning. It's like get him back.
You'll get a win bonus for that as well. It'll cost thousands.
Can I ask you something? So if Max had done a Ronaldo, and how turned to him went 4 minutes left, do you want to come on? He went, nah, not for 4 minutes. What would your opinion be then? Maxi's right because it's 4 minutes. What the fuck's the point? Or do you?
That's a great question, Deka. Which you've probably stumped him with.
Well, no, because you don't want to see that happening, do you? regardless of who the the player is.
But if that happened, would you have sat? You would know where you would have sat there and went, "Well, Max, he's right. Like 4 minutes. What the fuck's the point? Waste of a sub. Leave him till next week."
I want more
No,
time.
but the difference is it's not. He's asking him to go on rather than just.
Well, obviously, Max doesn't come on.
I don't know. Because of course, if if he's refusing to go on,
wasn't the board for the fifth of
what I'm saying is, why is Eddie making that decision to make the sub? Why not just look at his clock and think, there's only 4 minutes, there's no point doing it?
Very political answer that was.
Just killing the game. Fine.
I know. I answered the question. I said, of course, I'd be unhappy.
Right, let's go through a couple of more questions because he was on the field for 4 minutes and we managed to have an argument about St. Maximin. Was it even 4 minutes?
I'm not arguing about St. Maximin. If anything, I'm getting at Eddie.
I bet he was on the field for more than 4 minutes. I bet he was on the field for more than 4 minutes.
I know, but it was because we played like 6 minutes injury time.
It was 10 minutes now.
But it's just.
I hope it. Go on, Besty. Come on. This is it. This is gonna be brilliant. Isn't it? An hour and a half.
It was very late.
When Botman went off.
I'm going to say about the 80.
What's the point in bringing him on for 4 minutes?
How long was he on the field?
He came on in the 86th minute.
Okay. No, see?
He came on with Chris Wood in the 86th minute. Chris Wood pretty much missed an open goal.
Why were we bringing Wood?
So what's the point in bringing Chris Wood on to miss that chance?
But if Chris would have been on the pitch for longer, or we hadn't made the change and Callum Wilson had remained on, we would have scored that goal.
Wilson would have scored that goal,
100%.
But I think that's just because he's a better player.
He would have, but that doesn't answer.
I don't think there's anything to do with match fitness. I think that's just because he's a better player than Chris Wood.
But Callum, the point I'm getting at,
playing a while, I think
why I'm saying Saint though is because he's been out injured a long time in missing.
Right, I'm going to fire through the rest of them. Right, this one is from Liam K 1998. Besty, we'll come to you because it's a World Cup question.
Ooh,
kind of.
No.
Is the World Cup coming at the wrong time?
Well, it should never be. And yeah, totally. The World Cup's got no business in November.
For Newcastle United, is it coming at the wrong time?
Oh, right. No, I don't think it is. I think it's coming at a great time because me rationale for saying that is this. I think if what are we on now, points wise? I've just had the league table up there as well.
23,
24, I think.
Third at one point now the weekend.
Well, third at half time.
Until very late on, because Tottenham came from behind, didn't it?
And Harry Kane's a prick.
Right, we're at 24 points. The teams haven't got games in hand. So the lowest we can be, if we lose both the next two games and everyone picks up 6 points magically, who's got 6 points fewer?
7th? What was it?
Brighton are in 8th. That isn't going to happen because of how fixtures are, some two teams play each other. So we're not going to be any lower than 5th or 6th after 2 more games. At the very worst, we could be 4th, could be 3rd. That's 2 games, and then there's no football till Boxing Day. League Cup notwithstanding, because they've got the Palace match midweek coming
next
up,
Wednesday,
and then the 4th round's the first game back of the week commencing the 19th of December. So before Christmas, that'll be the next round of the League Cup. Should they get through? So that means 2 more league games till Boxing Day. Then you've got 2 or 3 games. Then the transfer window opens. So we're in 4th place. If we can maintain where we are now, being 4th place come January, goes back to what I said earlier about last year. We were struggling like mad to get players in. We got to James Maddison, Leandro Trossard go, we're 4th. Fancy it. I go on then. Me bother.
I said this last week. My same pattern of the positives of how it could be.
There's a lot of ifs, and Man U win their game in hand, they go ahead of us. I think there's only them though. If I think because of the form we're in, I think even Liverpool, if they've got 2 games in hand, they can't catch up with those 2 games in hand. Man U can. I think they're the only ones. I may be wrong on that.
2 teams behind around 1 point.
I've just looked.
Or was that before the weekend? Maybe
that
Man
thing
United.
on TalkSport about Simon Jordan said about Liverpool, saying that it's that our nothing to do with us at all being good or anything. It was just about Liverpool aren't doing very well, and that's why they're just replacing them. But if Liverpool were playing well, we wouldn't be there. I'm like,
Liverpool have got 1 game in hand, and they can go to 19 points, so they'd be 5 points behind if they win that. Man U, if they win their game in hand, going to 26.
So they lost at the weekend. Yeah.
Chelsea are 3 points behind with, but their goal difference is +2, so they need to win 30.
And we play them, don't we? We play them
last game, so they could get away with 7 now to go ahead of it. So we're going to be, if everyone's points per game was the same and all that carry on, we'll be 5th.
It's crazy.
And that's if we can be 5th.
Absolutely crazy.
If we can stay there, it looks likely that will be top 5, top 6 going into the World Cup. I think it's coming at a great time because you don't get we historically, in my memory, do awfully in December.
Well, you see, I was speaking to some one of my mates. He's a Maximin. He's a nice lad, though. To be fair to him, there's not many of them, but
He's a Mac and butt.
and he texted saying, "God, mate, it's unbelievable. Like what you're doing, blah blah blah." You know, and he said, "But do you think that the World Cup's coming at the worst possible time because you're killing your momentum?" And like, I thought it was a good point.
That's the opposite way of looking at it
now,
from what you've just said.
I sat on it for a bit and I was thinking, but you could say, right, at the Arsenal game when we won that game against Arsenal last game of the season,
season came at the wrong time.
Ending the season was the worst thing ever because the momentum we were building, and then look what happened. Look at what has happened. The momentum that just hasn't affected it at all.
I think the one thing which will come as a negative with the World Cup coming is the possibility of Wilson going. If Wilson gets much game time whilst he's away, that might be his burnout.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he'll get many minutes if he does go behind.
He might come on against Iran or something
like
that.
That's what I think. I think he'd be going there more for ping pong and stuff like that. He's not going to be playing much.
With the players we've got, if Pickford's fit, Pope doesn't play because we've established Pope shite, right? He's not.
He's definitely not.
Someone just lady doesn't really mean that. Honestly,
I really don't mean that. I like him a lot. Wilson doesn't start really.
Context.
Trippier's. I think he's in better form than Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker. Well, Reece.
There's a lot.
Not Reece. What's the Chelsea fullback? I really like
Daniel James.
Isn't that lad?
No.
Daniel James.
Reece James. Yeah. I think Trippier's in better form than them all, but Southgate wouldn't pick him ahead of any one of those.
I agree.
So
they're all injured though. That's
the
thing.
I
still don't think,
even if they haven't had any
do you think
game
you
time.
saw Trent over him?
Yeah,
I think you would
definitely.
Wow.
Okay. 100%. So there's the three England players. I don't think they'll get that many minutes. Sure will do because Switzerland. He's one. And he's wonderful.
Botman's been called up.
I don't think he'll get in the squad. He's never played for home before.
He's been called up.
To the big extent. I don't think he'll make the squad. And if he does, I don't think he plays much. Bruno will probably play quite a bit for Brazil, so that's the one possibility burnout. Joe Linton, I don't think gets called up. Isaac, so Sweden haven't qualified, so he can stay home and get fit. The rest of the squad, basically, they're going on their jollies to Saudi Arabia, aren't they, for a couple of friendlies and stuff like that. Yeah. So, in that regard, again, the same as people say about Haaland, because Norway didn't qualify, so he's not going to be playing loads of games over Christmas. He's going to be belter. He's going to be amazing from January. Why wouldn't that apply to, like, Dan Burn and Matt Target and Joe Linton and Joe Willock and
I don't say being
Maximin wasn't going to go.
I think if anything,
Paraguay didn't qualify.
Say positives hard to look at Sunday, but as you mentioned, there's a lot of players going to get a bit of a breather, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take stock
totally.
and relax and
fill the tank.
Fill the tank, exactly. Yeah. And
why not?
You got Maxi would be coming back even fitter, you would imagine. So there's another piece of the puzzle, and Isak as well, of course. Yes.
Yeah, because Sweden didn't qualify, and Maxi's not going to get in the squad.
Yeah.
So they have got until January now. If we don't need to play, Isak's not anyway. But Maxi doesn't need to play really. We're talking about Murphy starting the next game.
Why bring him on for 4 minutes?
It's injury time.
We've got the cup game as well. Like
we've got cup matches.
Yeah.
So
you're going to see a whole.
You expect Shelby will play that. Probably saying
I hope it's still a pretty strong team though. I hope that we have a Goalkeepers Cup.
I think you'll take it pretty seriously.
We'll not waste for time going through the starting 11 on the cup game because we will have a preview coming up for that one as well.
Lovely.
I'm going to wrap this one up because we've been going an hour and 22 minutes.
I could
time fly when you're having fun.
I could sit here all night. Yeah,
this season is flying over, and I am enjoying every.
It's like the weekend. Like even at half time when we were down on the concourse, it felt like an away game because people were singing, chanting, having a great time. I just down at half time, and it's madness.
I keep looking at the league table. I look at, and you've got like the Premier League. You've got the badges. So you've got like Arsenal, Man City, Tottenham. It's like we're fourth.
Well, like I say, half time we were third.
We're briefly. We are, and we're there on merit. I said earlier, it's not a good run of form. We're there because we've been the fourth best team in the Premier League.
Because we're mint.
So far this year, we're
absolutely mint.
It's weird, this, isn't it? It's like being 13 again.
It's honestly like that, and like you said,
like 30 off from Mark.
You get a glimpse of the league table, and you think, what has happened in such a short space of time?
It is no doubt. But I think in the same token, like we've got Southampton next, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now
we would go to that game and think, it's tough to go down there. And we're gonna beat them. That's my honest opinion. I feel this inside that. No, I do.
You've said it.
But if I feel like that, it's the players will feel like that.
I
feel the players now go on the field going, it's not fine, it's not easy, but I believe we can beat you. Whereas I don't think we've had that before. I'm feeling it, and the players will definitely be feeling it. And that's the difference.
You mentioned earlier about how they set up against Man City, Deka, and you said like, the players after that must be thinking quite bought into that, and I can totally get that way. They are now thinking, well, we did that Man City with more than match Man United. With Liverpool scored that, like they haven't scored it yet. It's that latest goal they scored. So like they must be going to games now thinking like, well, looking at Man City, no problem. So, and I'm not saying that Southampton is a hard game. Every game's a hard game.
Of course, it is.
You saw
that's one thing.
Liverpool the other week.
Yeah, and Leeds just fucking beat Liverpool at Liverpool. So every game is hard. And I think the one thing I'd say about Howe is there's absolutely no question that he'll be drilling them. To explain that it's not just a given.
Yeah.
But I just think
for every those performances, you've just got to look at Bournemouth. You've just got to look at the first half against Villa. So it doesn't always just click.
It doesn't click, but I don't think that's through any kind of lack of application or any expectancy that they're just going to be able to roll teams over. I think Howe will be really kind of driving that home to say, you've still got to throw away a fourth in Southampton or wherever they are in the league and the bottom half, aren't they? Yeah. Like you've still got to turn up against these lads. And it's not an easy game. A draw down there isn't an awful result. I think we'll beat them, right?
I fancy what it is. I think once again, and I know we do this every single week, and every other Newcastle fan will do this every week. But I'm sick to death of hearing about, but they spent 200 million. Fine, whatever. You have to give credit to Eddie Howe and that coaching staff once again. Because yes, you look at the new players which came in, but look at the players that were signed by Steve Bruce, that were playing under Steve Bruce. They haven't
gone backwards under Steve Bruce.
Best football they've ever played.
Ever played, without question. And I seen a stat saying that we've spent the same as Wolves in the summer, pound for pound, exactly the same as what Wolves have spent. And look at the difference there. Like it's all plain to see, right?
Loads of teams.
There's a few pundits. There's a few pundits that have, I think, if sort of sat up and went, I'll actually have a look and see what's going on. Hey, look at the 4 goal scorers at the fucking weekend. It's all the same team as what Bruce had. The four players. I know, and Besty's absolutely correct that Wilson's been good since the start. No doubt. Since the dark times, he's been amazing. But then 4 goal scorers, there's no new signings within that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as if we've bought away to fourth. Far from it. And you'll see other fans. There was one of the popular guys from Man United on Twitter saying they haven't even opened the fucking checkbook yet, and they're absolutely smashing it. Like we're fucked. Like that's what they're saying. Like, probably jokingly as well, but like if you imagine if we do spend some real money on Howe and get Howe what he believes is the right person in with his methods and the way that he's going, like fuck me, like there is no ceiling, like as Klopp says.
The interesting thing I heard today, sorry, Chris, before you was that we've had 10 players score for this season, and that's more than anyone else except like Chelsea. We might have one more, so we've got goals from everywhere. Like,
that was unheard of here at one point.
I mean, remember, I think Bruce's first season was all centre halves. Like Clark had a few, Lascelles had a few, Fernandez chipped in.
And in fairness, that was rare actually, because it normally was just one guy up front. Yeah, we used to rely on that one person to score every goal we had.
Well, wasn't Shelby leading goal scorer 3 years ago or something like that?
Yeah. But now Wilson's probably top scorer now. Miggy's up there as well. So Maximin scored that one at Wolves. Bruno's got a few. Joe Linton's got one as well. Yeah. There's goals everywhere in that team, so you don't worry so much if a team can nullify Wilson, which some teams do. Sometimes he can be very isolated. Well, goals, all right, we'll be fine. Yeah. I'm not saying we'll turn to that more. It's still a hard game, but I fancy that we'll. I think we'll.
Arsenal drew there, didn't they?
Did they? They did. I watched the game. Yeah.
I think we'll still be fourth this end.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Mark, do you want to tell everybody what they need to do?
You need to
by talking in your mic, preferably.
You need to click that little like button down there. Give it a little like. Let it pop up on all of your friends' social media accounts and things like that. Get their algorithms running.
Apparently worked earlier on as well when you said it.
That's what we need to do. And before we go as well, I just want to say hello to Barry and Rob, who had a good little chat with at the weekend on Saturday night.
Yeah, we're bumping into a few people on Saturday. We had a rare night out, Mark, didn't we? After the match, but
not that rare.
Not that rare, yeah. Thanks everybody who has been watching. Thanks everybody who is catching up on the audio as well. Thanks to Michael Myers who joined with tonight as well for a very brief period.
You're welcome.
Like Mark said, like the video. Become a subscriber. Cost nothing. If you do want to kick back a little bit, $2.99 a month to become a member. You get extra content. You get early access to things. You get access to the Telegram group to have a chat to everybody else and like-minded Newcastle United fans who are all enjoying this moment along with us as well.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure, boys.
It has been a pleasure as well,
But at the end of the day, just do what you like.
Well, one you know.
Yourselves.
Ta-ra.